And Beijing and Seoul find common ground in dealing with the threats from Pyongyang. We're joined now by Jiang Shixue from Shanghai University. Let's start there. Give me your sense of the meeting between Xi and Moon. They appear to be on the same page. What will it mean in terms of moving towards a diplomatic solution to the crisis on the Korean Peninsula?
Well, I would say that China's position is very clear and very straightforward. So I would say during their meeting, President Xi Jinping might repeat China's position again. It's called the so-called dual-track solution. On the one hand, DPRK must stop its nuclear program. And on the other hand, the US and South Korea should de-escalate its kind of a military exercise against the DPRK. So, well, I would like to point out that bilateral relations between any two countries, if you want to push it forward, you need to make compromises. Okay, so like a marriage, the two countries must make compromise so that their relationship can be improved.
What's your sense about a six-party talks, dialogues? I mean, we've seen those in the past. You know, this is going to be a chance for the U.S. president to meet with President Xi, Russian President Vladimir Putin. Do you think there's any chance that those might be rekindled?
Well, first, let me say that it's not good for the U.S. or other countries to use the so-called military option. That will cause more trouble in this area. And secondly, I want to say that so history has proved that only peaceful negotiation can be the best solution for all kinds of crises. So I would hope that every country involved in this crisis can come to the table of the so-called six-party talks. Only peaceful negotiation through the six-party peace talks can deal with this kind of crisis.
Talk to me about
no other options.
Talk to me a little bit about President Xi's bilateral discussions with Vladimir Putin. They just met in Moscow not too long ago. Of course, he's been there about 6 times since becoming the Chinese leader, talking about the relationship between these two countries. What do you suspect will come out of those bilateral discussions?
Well, as you know, China and Russia are best friends in the world today. These two important partners are really very important for maintaining world peace. So I would say that in terms of DPRK crisis, in terms of geographical consideration, China and Russia must play an important role. And now we must understand China and Russia have put forward their good solution. So that's the called dual-track solution. So now the ball is in the hands of the U.S. and South Korea. So I hope that the U.S. and South Korea will consider China and Russia's option.
Let me also get your sense about China's approach to all these international hotspots, Syria, the DPRK. It's also a leader on climate change. Talk to me about the new role for China on the global stage.
Well, just early this morning, I read an article saying that the G20 summit in Hamburg might mean the beginning of the end of the U.S. dominance on the world stage. So the article says, is China ready to take over the U.S. position to govern the world? And personally, as a Chinese scholar, I would say that no, it's impossible. Now we are living in a world of multilateralism. We cannot count on one country to deal with all kinds of global issues. So international cooperation is very important. Everybody is in the same boat. So everybody must make some kind of contribution. Of course, China is one of the major powers in the world. China should take up more responsibilities in the world where there are so many global issues, there are so many hot spots. But, it is very easy to understand China's position towards DPRK and towards other kinds of hot spots are different because DPRK is China's old friend and the DPRK is China's neighbor. So China is very much more concerned about the peaceful solution of the DPRK crisis.
All right, Jiang Shixue joining us from Beijing. Thanks so much.